KNBC, Los Angeles.
The following NBC sports program is brought to you in living color.
Hi, I'm Joe Namath of the New York Jets. The Baltimore Colts will win today's Super Bowl game. I can't guarantee it, but I definitely think the Colts will win.
Brought to you by Chrysler Corporation, extra care in engineering. Your host today, your local Dodge, Chrysler, Plymouth dealer. This is the Orange Bowl. It'll be jammed 80,000 fans today, the pro football capital of the world, Super Bowl day, the culmination of the long season that began last September and winds up this afternoon. Only a half hour now, countdown to the kickoff in beautiful Miami. Hi, everybody. This is Curt Gowdy, along with Joe Namath here in Miami. We're waiting for the start of Super Bowl V. Because of the demands and pressures of getting ready for this game, we have pre-taped this show in the outdoor studios of WCKT here in Miami. Anyone who recalls that Joe Namath 2 years ago personally guaranteed a victory for the New York Jets over the Baltimore Colts will be interested in his observations today. I don't know what you've read. You've read and heard a lot of things about Joe. Believe me, he is a serious student of football. He's a brilliant theorist, and after spending hours with him looking at these films, I can tell you that he can really take a pro football team and pick it apart. It's not just his quick release in the Army you heard about. He has a fine football mind. Joe, today it's the Baltimore Colts, champs of the American Conference, the Dallas Cowboys, champs of the National Conference. An old AFL team is not here today. Do you think it's taken a little sting out of the game?
Well, I think it has, Curt. In the old days, last year and years prior to that when we had the two conferences, the owners were always arguing with each other, the commissioners were arguing with each other, the players disliked each other, and it added a lot of excitement to this game. And without an AFL team in there, I think it does lack a little bit.
Well, now, generally, how does it stack up to you before we really get down to details?
Well, I think the Cowboys, I know the Cowboys have a tremendous running game, and Baltimore has a pretty good running game, not that outstanding. However, Baltimore's passing attack is head and shoulders above Dallas's because Craig Morton simply hasn't been able to throw the ball the last 4 or 5 weeks, and it's not because he can't. He's had a sore arm. He's had more injuries to his arm, and this is going to cause him a big problem.
All right, we'll be back here with Joe Namath and a preview of Super Bowl V right after this message.
Hey, baby, hey, look at what I got. A brand new Dart Swinger. Ain't she a beauty?
I done heard about it.
See, I got this special deal down at the Dodge Boys. I got the...
Buford, turn in your badge.
Say what?
One thing I can't stand is a law officer accepting preferential treatment.
You mean a bribe?
I mean a special deal. White side walls, wheel covers, vinyl roof, and all that stuff.
But I paid for all that. Wait, look at the sticker.
And the automatic transmission?
What about the automatic transmission?
What did it cost you?
Nothing.
Give me the badge, Buford.
That's part of the Swinger automatic special, J.W. Special equipped Dodge Dart comes with the automatic transmission at no extra charge. Go ask them.
Ask him your own self. You're entitled to one phone call.
Well, now...
The new Swinger Automatic Special. So great last year, we brought it back for seconds. See it at your Dodge dealer today.
Much obliged, Dodge boys.
Well, Joe, the Dallas Cowboys arrived here by beating the 49ers in the National Football Conference Championship, while the Colts got here by defeating the Oakland Raiders in the American Football Conference Championship. Do the results of those two championship games surprise you at all?
Well, one of them did. I thought that Oakland would beat Baltimore. Of course, when Daryl LaMonica got hurt in the second quarter, I think, not to take away anything from George Blanda, but George can't throw as well as Daryl, and I think that hurt Oakland's chances. And in the 49er game, I didn't really feel that the 49ers defense was strong enough to contain Dallas's running game, and they weren't. So the Dallas game went about according to plan.
Well, over 60 million people who will be viewing today's game know that Dallas has a tremendous running game. played a ball control, running style of game against the 49ers to beat them. Do you think that the Dallas Cowboys will be able to run effectively against the Baltimore Colts?
Well, they have a great running game, so they'll be able to run some, but I don't think they'll be able to run effectively enough. Baltimore has a tremendous defense, and I think they'll cut off Dallas's running game pretty good.
This boy, Dwayne Thomas, who is, Tom Landry's called him the greatest running back in the history of the Cowboys, only his first year. They're already comparing him to Jimmy Brown. What do you think about him?
Well, it's no doubt that he's a great athlete. He's done wonders for the Dallas team so far this year. And there are a couple other young backs that are also tremendous, like Ron Johnson from the Giants and O.J. Simpson. But people might tend to overlook the other half of the Dallas running game, Walt Garrison. I think Garrison does a tremendous job for the Cowboys.
Who should we watch for with Baltimore to help stop this running game of Dallas's?
Well, as I said, they're experienced. They're a very tough defensive unit. They work together well. I don't think Dallas will be running too much at Bubba Smith. I think they'll be running to the other side of the line towards
like
Hilton.
you did against Baltimore 2 years ago.
Right. Not necessarily because Hilton's weak, but I think Bubba Smith is that strong. They respect him that much, and so I think they'll be running the left side of the line more.
And the Baltimore linebackers play the run well, don't they?
Yes, they do, but I think they play the pass better than they play the run. They're all very active, and it's Ted Hendricks trying to throw over him is like trying to throw over a skyscraper. And, of course, Mike Curtis has good movement, and Ray May is a fine all-around linebacker. They coordinate very well in pass coverage.
Oh, you think Dallas can run against Baltimore, but they're not going to tear them apart?
I think they can run a little bit on them. I don't think they're going to run all day long.
All right, now 2 out of every 3 yards Baltimore's gained this year has been in the air. Now, can Baltimore work their passing game against a defense that's allowed only 1 touchdown in the last 25 quarters?
Well, the biggest thing about Baltimore's passing, Curt, is Johnny Unitas. He's done such a great job this year at throwing the ball where the defenders aren't. Of course, Johnny needs the protection. He'll have to have his offensive line doing a great job to keep Dallas out of there. And if the line does do their regular job, I think Johnny will be able to throw on Dallas pretty good.
They have not only a great pair of wide receivers in Hinton and Jefferson, but some backup men. They can flood 4 wide receivers in a game at one time.
Right, and this is what also makes Baltimore's passing game more effective. They have Perkins backing up Hinton and Jefferson, and they have Jimmy Orr, who still has that experience. And, of course, Mitchell backs up Mackey. They have probably the finest group of receivers in all of football.
Speaking of Perkins, he's an old Alabama teammate of yours, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Raymond is, and for Dallas, Leroy Jordan and Dennis Hallman are old teammates.
2 on one club and 1 on the other.
Right. I think I'll have to be pulling for Dallas only because of that.
Now, you're pulling for Dallas and picking Baltimore.
That's right.
That makes a lot of sense. Joe, let me ask you something. We talk about this game and all the talk recently. It still always gets back to the name of Unitas. Didn't you wear Unitas's number 19 when you were in high school at Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania?
Yes, I did, and they used to call me Joey U. Right. Well, I didn't live too far from Johnny back there, I guess about 40 miles apart, and Johnny was a legend, and he still is a legend in that area, and I respect the man tremendously, and it was a thrill for me just to be wearing number 19.
Now, Joe, we're going to put you in quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys and let you go to work against the Baltimore defense. And we're going to move you over to the Baltimore team and let you try and pick apart the Dallas defense. And we'll do that right after this message.
The salted peanut theory. It starts with a single peanut. You try it. You'll like it. You come back for more. For years, we've been selling Chryslers this way. People buy one. They like it. They come back for more. All we have to do is to get you into that first Chrysler. So, we're coming through with a brand new series of full-sized Chryslers, a special introductory offer at a new low price, a Royal. Royal is our way of introducing as many people as possible to Chrysler luxury, quality, and value. New Chrysler Royal. New low price. Royal. The easiest way yet to acquire the Chrysler taste.
Here comes Chrysler. Coming through. Here comes Chrysler.
Now, let's take Johnny Unitas out as quarterback for Baltimore for 2 or 3 minutes, put Joe Namath in. Joe, you're now running the Baltimore attack against this famed Dallas defense. First of all, Dallas has a very fine front four. They put a lot of pressure on the passing game and the quarterback. What would you do against the pass rush of Dallas?
Well, I think Johnny is going to have to throw the ball quicker. He'll throw shorter patterns, I think. And I think he's going to have to establish a draw play or a screen, Curt, because you got to slow down those fellas. Bob Lilly is tremendous. He's absolutely great. Yeah. He is great, yes. And Larry Cole's doing a great job for him. So he'll have to mix up his plays with the screens and the draws. And I think they might use 4 receivers and try and get a one-on-one situation with Waters, the free safety, the young kid.
Now, there's Mel Renfro, an all-pro cornerback. Have you seen anything where Unitas will be able to find some flaws in that Dallas secondary?
Well, I think the only flaw they have is the fact that you can tell what they're going to do a good percentage of the time before they do it. And with Johnny's experience and knowledge of the game, I think this is going to be a tremendous asset for the passing game.
What's your key to tell what they're going to do?
Well, it depends on the team you're playing against. And with Dallas, there's a couple of people, I hate to say who they are actually, that give you the key, because we'll probably have to play next year.
Right.
But you can tell when you come up to the line of scrimmage just the way a man lines up, or very often just the way a guy's looking at you, what they're going to do.
Dallas going to play zone, man-to-man, or both?
I think they'll use both. Dallas will double cover both wide receivers at times, or they have in the past. Now, I don't know if they want to do that and hang the linebackers up one-on-one with Mackey, because Mackey's a tremendous receiver.
Fans can look for 2 defenders covering 1 wide man, 2 in the other, which might release the big tight end Mackey down the middle.
Right. The linebackers will try and hold Mackey up at the line of scrimmage, but he's a big man. If he gets free, he'll be dangerous.
Of course, Unitas very quick spotting these things, and he probably will do what he sees in the Dallas defense.
Right. Now, as I said earlier, that's the biggest asset of Baltimore's passing attack. Johnny is so quick at reading the defensive alignment, etc.
Joe, psychologically, as a quarterback, how important is it going to be to score first in this game?
I think it's very important to Baltimore in this respect. Dallas doesn't have that explosive offense that they used to have. If Baltimore scores early, Dallas may have to try and catch up to them, but they won't leave their game plan early in the game. However, if Dallas gets on the board early, I don't think that's going to change much of Baltimore's thinking at all.
We saw that sort of in the Ohio State-Stanford game.
Right.
Stanford got ahead, and Ohio State, a ground team, then tried to pass and catch up, just couldn't quite do it.
That's right. And if Dallas, or if Craig Morton was healthy, if he could throw, then possibly they could do it. But I think they'll be in trouble if they get behind.
Well, we asked you the importance of scoring first, and we also asked psychologically how important scoring early was Johnny Unitas and Craig Morton.
So you're going to probably try and get quick, aren't you? Strike quick if you can.
As quick as we possibly can.
Yeah, you want to get on top. You think that's going to be a big key, don't you?
Well, if we go out right now, we probably could beat them. No one else on the field.
Right. But you like to get out, you like to get on top anytime. I mean, this type of team you're playing is the type of team you like to get ahead of.
Well, we like to get ahead of everybody, like you said, but if we can get a quick one, we'll love to have it.
Well, I think that our whole philosophy of offense has kind of been switched from a wide-open type of get-rich-quick plays to the more steady ground game, trying to establish that we do have a powerful front line and we have some excellent running backs. And so we always like to feel that we can control the game by running, and by doing this, we limit the defensive time on the field, and consequently, we have more plays, and it has turned out to be real successful for us the last 7 weeks.
Well, Craig Morton says he's going to take his time against that Baltimore zone. They're hard to throw deep on. Now, Joe Namath, let's put you over as the Dallas quarterback. How would you attack Baltimore?
Well, first he wants to get his running game going. There's no doubt about that. And I don't think he's going to be able to get it going too successfully. So he's going to have to throw the football. And with as much respect as the Dallas running game has, I think the best passes he'll utilize or call will be play-action passes, where they'll fake to a running back and then turn around and throw the ball to somebody.
In other words, we're going to look for him early maybe to fake that run. They're looking for the run and raise up and maybe try and hit a big one early.
Right, he could go for the big one. Or the linebackers of Baltimore really have to respect the run of Dallas. So they're going to have to stay in a little tight. So there should be an open area between the linebackers, behind them, and the secondary. So you can look for Bob Hayes or Dennis Holman to be squaring in those areas.
Is that what you did 2 years ago?
Yeah, we did a lot of that with George Sire.
In between the linebackers and the deep secondary.
Right. They kept rotating their zone because of the threat we had with Maynard, and so we just went the other way with Sire.
Now, the Colts have a great pass rusher in their left end, Bubba Smith. It didn't bother you fellas too much. Snell picked him up many times. But he's big and strong, and he comes barreling in there. Morton's not too agile behind the line as he sets up. What would you do against a big pass rusher like Bubba Smith of Baltimore?
Well, I'd say a prayer before the game. We always do that. And I know I'd tell my tackle to help out a lot. Dave Herman, who blocked Bubba in the Super Bowl a few years ago, did a great job on him. Bubba, I don't think, however, is going to be too concerned with the pass. I think the whole Baltimore line will be more concerned with the running plays, and Craig will probably have time to pass unless he has to pass. Then Baltimore will start coming after him.
Well, they say Dallas is a winning team without a quarterback. He was ineffective with passing efficiency his last 3 or 4 games. But he's had a bum elbow. There's something wrong with him, and they say he's been throwing much better this week. Do you think Morton is physically capable of having a big day throwing?
I know Craig for a few years now. I've seen him play ever since he was in college, and he had a tremendous arm. He could throw the football as well as anybody and better than most. But something has definitely happened to his arm over the last 6 or 7 weeks. He is injured, and no one knows how it's going to be for the game.
All right, Joe, we'll be back here with a wrap-up right after this message.
Okay, just go on back. Oh, don't worry.
What do you mean, don't worry? What have you done to my car, lady?
Nothing. It was nothing.
Nothing? You call that nothing? The car's only 2 days old.
Oh, it looks very new.
Looks new? Oh, lady, you just hit the newest of the new cars. Out of a whole parking lot, you got to run into my new Plymouth Satellite.
But I didn't hit your new expensive car.
She did? She did. Oh, she did. Satellite isn't really expensive. In fact, it's very low priced.
I'm terribly sorry.
Oh, no damage done. Car with legs like that, who's going to notice a little scratch?
New Plymouth Satellite, America's lowest priced 2-door intermediate. Based on manufacturer's suggested retail prices of Satellite pictured and closest competitive models comparably equipped.
You know, Joe, after that Baltimore-Oakland game, Johnny Unitas did not have a high percentage of completion. And you commented to me, though, how he threw an almost perfect game. Either hit his receiver or the defender never touched the ball.
Right. Johnny really impressed me in that game because his throwing very often didn't look accurate to the spectator, but it was because he was throwing a lot of passes away. And if there was any chance of anyone getting to the ball, it was his own people.
So today, if the fans see Unitas missing some passes, sometimes he's missing on purpose.
Of course, keep the ball away from the defense.
We told Johnny Unitas what you said about that was one of the greatest performances you'd ever seen, and here's what he had to say as an answer.
Well, we try not to throw it up for grabs. I try not to get in a position where I have to force a ball in between 2 people. My arm's not as strong as it was 10, 12 years ago, where I could take that opportunity and have maybe a throw, right, drill it in through that hole. I don't have the speed on the ball that I once had, but I can still throw the outside without any problem. And you tend to hold the ball a little bit longer, make sure the man gets a little bit more open than what you would like, what you think he should be,
Well, you're being honest. What you're saying is physically you can't pass the football as good as you did 10 years ago.
Well, I can't put as much speed on it.
Right.
I could probably throw it better than what I could 10 years ago, but with not as much speed.
I think Craig, of course, who's another Johnny Unitas, he's got all the experience. Craig is just really beginning in his career. He's had a lot of trouble this year, a lot of arm trouble, and whenever a quarterback has arm trouble, you got troubles because he can't work during practice, he can't do the things that makes great timing, and this has hurt him, and he's suffered for it, and we've had to compensate, in what we do to offset it.
Joe, do you agree with Tom Landry on that?
I certainly do. Timing phase of throwing a football is so important that you have to get out there and work at it and work on it every day. And if Craig can't throw it, he certainly can't work on it.
And he paid a compliment to Unitas on his experience. You're still a fairly young quarterback, but year by year, are you realizing how important experience is in pro football?
I certainly do, Curt. When I first came into football as a rookie, I thought that I could play professional football. I had confidence. I wasn't aware of all the intricacies of the game. The more you play, the older you get, you're still learning. Johnny, I know Johnny feels the same way. Unitas, even though he's played 15, 16 years, you find out something new every game.
Well, you went through a Super Bowl time here 2 years ago, the 2 weeks of preparation. Baltimore's gone at it differently this time. They've left their wives at home, their families, They come down here with total concentration. So is Dallas. How much pressure is there on these players coming into this game?
Well, if they got their wives with them, I'd imagine there's a whole lot more on them than there would be without them. There's a tremendous amount of pressure on these guys. They're playing for the World Championship. They may never get another opportunity to be here, and it's the ultimate for the professional football player to reach that goal, to be able to participate in the World Championship game and win it. So there's a tremendous amount of pressure on them.
When you're in the locker room and somebody says, boys, it's just another ball game, it isn't, right?
There's no way it's just another game.
We're right here on artificial turf in this outdoor studio. What about artificial turf affecting the game? Baltimore's only played on it 3 times this year. Dallas has played on it all year.
I don't think it'll have any bearing at all, Curt, on the game. From what I've seen of the artificial turf, I've liked it. Some players don't like it because of an injury problem. They'll get scrapes and burns. But usually, the footing has been great every time we've been on it, so I don't think it's going to have any bearing on the game.
All right, one final wrap-up of your prediction and your general diagnosis of this game.
Well, again, Curt, I like the Baltimore Colts to win the game because they have the more balanced attack of the two. I don't think Dallas is going to be able to run the football on the Colts the way they've been able to run against these past few teams that they've played. And, of course, Johnny Unitas, with his experience, he's going to throw it to the right areas, and I think they'll move the ball on Dallas, and the field goal kickers are going to be very important in this game.
Jim O'Brien for Baltimore and Clark for Dallas.
Right, it could be decided by a field goal.
Close game.
It's definitely going to be close.
Joe, we want to thank you very much. Incidentally, you'll be able to see Joe Namath on the Flip Wilson Show on NBC, February 4th. You've noticed the cast on his hand. Most of you know he broke his hand the 4th game of the year. It's still in the cast. A very slow healing bone there in that right hand you injured, wasn't it?
Yes, it is, Curt. It's taken a lot longer than I hoped it would take, and I'll get it examined again next week, and hopefully it's healed.
Maybe you'll be unavailable for this show next year. You might be back in the Super Bowl as a player, huh?
You know, I hope you're right about that. We have a fine team, and if we can stay healthy, if we have a little luck, we might be there next year.
That's Joe Namath, the quarterback of the New York Jets, who's diagnosed and he's predicted the Baltimore Colts in a close game to defeat the Dallas Cowboys today. Now we're going to have a live update direct from the Orange Bowl and a unique way of looking at the starting lineups right after this message.
We're proud of our 1971 Plymouths. They're the finest we've ever built. We're so proud, in fact, that we're making 2 special offers to make it easy for you to own one. First, there's the 1971 Fury V8 with new torsion quiet ride. To give it an extra big push, we've added a special package of popular options, including power steering, power brakes, and air conditioning. We're also pushing America's newest low-price 2-door hardtop, Valiant Scamp, with a special introductory package including a vinyl roof, white walls, and a remote side view mirror. During our big push, if you buy either a specially equipped Fury or a specially equipped Valiant Scamp, we'll throw in the automatic transmission at no extra charge. That's right, automatic transmission, no extra charge. That's Chrysler Plymouth coming through.
This was the Orange Bowl Stadium early this morning. And now, just before game time, it is already filled, 80,000 on hand. We're here in our NBC telecasting booth now, and believe me, it's been a tough ticket for this game. They've been scalping them for over $100 in the hotel lobbies and around Miami. The weather is going to be played in bright sunshine. It is cooler, though. It's been hot all week here in Miami, but it cooled off yesterday. The temperature will be 65 degrees, an ideal climate for the players. And now we're going to take a unique look at the starting lineups as we match the offensive player against the defense. For Dallas on offense, number 22, wide receiver Bobby Hayes, a one-time world's fastest human who's the Cowboys' leading pass catcher. Matching with Hayes on defense for Baltimore is right cornerback Jim Duncan, number 35, who is the top kickoff return man in the American Conference. The Cowboys' other wide receiver is rookie Reggie Rucker, number 88, who's averaged better than 22 yards a catch. Rucker's pair on defense with Baltimore's left cornerback Charlie Stoops, number 47. Tight end Pettis Norman of Dallas, number 84, is one of Coach Tom Landry's messengers. He carries in the plays along with the other tight end, Mike Ditka. Strong safety Jerry Logan of the Colts, number 20, who intercepted 6 passes during the season, will line up opposite the tight end. Rayfield Wright, number 70, is the starting right tackle for the Cowboys, and his duel with gigantic Bubba Smith, number 78, the Colts left end, should be something to watch. Blaine Nye, number 61, holds down right guard for Dallas. He's at his best pulling out of the line. Nye will be up against the wily Colt veteran left tackle, rough and tumble Billy Ray Smith, number 74. The Dallas center is Dave Manners, number 51. Right down the alley from him will be one of the most vicious tacklers in pro football, Mike Curtis, number 32. They don't call the Colt middle linebacker the Animal for nothing. At left guard for Dallas, John Nyland, number 76. He's quick, an outstanding pass protector. Nyland draws the Colt right tackle, Fred Miller, number 76, who's more adept in stopping a run than a pass. Ralph Neely, number 73, is the Cowboys' left tackle. He's probably the top performer in the Dallas offensive line. Neely will be banging helmets with the Colts right end, Roy Hilton, number 85, who has developed into a fine pass rusher. Running back Dwayne Thomas, number 33, is a Dallas Rookie of the Year. He became a starter in the 6th game of the season and finished as a top Cowboy runner with 803 yards, the 5th best of the National Conference. Thomas had 2 exceptional playoff games, picking up a total of 273 yards in those 2 games. Paired with him is Baltimore's left linebacker Ray May, number 56. The Dallas fullback or running back is Walt Garrison, number 32. He gained 500 yards during the season. And the Colts' fast improving right linebacker Ted Hendricks, number 83, will be across the line from Garrison. Quarterback Craig Morton of the Cowboys, number 14, threw 15 touchdown passes during the regular season. But his scattered arm statistics in the playoffs were dismal. Opposite Morton on defense for Baltimore is free safety Rick Volk, number 21, who intercepted 4 passes during the season. And that's the way they'll line up for the opening kickoff in Super Bowl V. All right, that's the lineup that you'll be seeing on the field as the Dallas Cowboys have won the toss. They've elected to receive. And interestingly enough, we don't know how the wind is down in the field, but the flag shows that Dallas will also have the advantage of the wind in the first period. But on the field, the wind may be a different factor. This is rated almost a dead-even game. Dallas a 2-point or a 1-point favorite, the closest of the pre-game predictions we've had in the Super Bowl. They've all been one-sided predictions before, and yet we've had 2 upsets the last 2 years. So it should be a dandy, and that's how it looks here from the Orange Bowl just before we move downfield. This Super Bowl special preview has been brought to you by Chrysler Corporation, extra care in engineering. Your host today, your local Dodge and Chrysler Plymouth dealers.
Lloyd Bridges, Gene Barry, and Diane Baker star in a chilling world premiere movie tomorrow at 9/8 Central Time.